So BNB had some fundamental news. Now they've got credit card on-ramp for the trading platform. And although it took the news a while to kind of break through, it's working really nicely now. This is Binance Coin against Bitcoin. Here we pull back to the daily 20 moving average. We're still in an uptrend now. If this was a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3. We've just finished wave 4 and we're in wave 5. The most common relationship between wave 1 and wave 5 is equal. So we measure from this high to this low, project it from here. We're looking for 22,000 next. We're looking for new highs, and we're looking for 22,000 next, and then 24,840. Let's see if they line up with any retrace levels, because that's a better sign. So that 1.618 lines up with that, and that lines up. No, not. Okay. So in terms of confluence, I think we're looking, there's nothing that lines up with this equal measured move. And that makes me think that we extend to the 1272 or the 1.618, which is also very common. And so we'll say 22,000 is a target on new highs, but look for 23,250 and 24,850 as well. So looking good for BNB. Pretty nice. So let's look at BNB Tether quickly before we move on. Again, this is a really nice hold. This is choppy and overlapping, but it's still a really nice hold of the daily moving averages. So clearly, in this one, we've got to return to the 236 fib and give it another go. I think if we get above there, we can probably move with some much better momentum. So 7.272 would be my first target, though, for BNB Tether. And then we'll see what happens from there. And then 9.23, which would take us back to the 200-day moving average as well. So BNB looking really good. Moeda is another one. MDA, pretty nice. So let's look at BNB Tether quickly. Again, this is a really nice hold. This is choppy and overlapping, but it's still a really nice hold of the daily moving averages. So clearly, in this one, we've got to return to the 236 fib and give it another go. I think if we get above there, we can probably move with some much better momentum. So 7.272 would be my first target, though, for BNB Tether. And then we'll see what happens from there. And then 9.23, which would take us back to the 200-day moving average as well. So BNB looking really good. So let's take a look at the daily in Moeda, where we are. We're trying to so this is just set. This is not stuff that's like, you know, this is stuff that's set. We looked at this last night, remember, we still got to break above the daily 50. And in fact, the daily 50 is our first long target. That's just above us here. But look how we've held up really nicely overnight on this hourly pullback to these moving averages. This is what we wanted to see overnight if we're going to go higher. So if you haven't bought any, I'm going to buy it, I think, if it breaks like this, because corrections are very often 3 waves. So if it does this, then I'm going to buy the second wave breakout, which is why I'm going to put my alert here. And then I'm going to watch and see if it breaks 21,500. And if it does, happy days. We're on our way higher in Moeda. And I'm looking for 28,150. And then DLT, how many? We've been looking at this one for a few days now. So yesterday when we looked at it, we said it needs to come a little bit lower and test this 50% level. And this is where we would expect a reaction. And 50% level in these previous lows are exactly where we've bounced, where we're bouncing from. Very nice setup, I think. So what will confirm this bounce from this level, the 236 lines up with this 382 fib above us here. So I'm going to say 3,400 is where we're looking for to go back to. And if we get above 3,400, we've got our bullish reversal in DLT and next swing higher underway. So pretty great reaction here off this 50% level. Setting up very nicely above the 20 moving average. Look for a pullback back to the 50 and etc. If we look at it on a 15-minute, you can see how we're above all of these moving averages and on our way. So good luck. So Ripple, last night, I was like, Ripple's ideal correction, but it kind of only looks like one swing, doesn't it? I think Ripple's looking quite good, to be honest. And where we close will be important. Remember that on the daily, this big bullish candle is in play. And so 50, as long as we don't close above 50% of it, we're still looking for us to go higher. We can look underneath, but we shouldn't have a daily close sort of more than 50%. So 3099, this is Ripple dollar. And then we can stay kind of bullish. So 3099, like here, right? So we're underneath it at the moment. If we can close the day back above it, which it looks like we're trying to do, you know, we're trying to have a bullish move here, then that will be all fine again. And let me move this 3099. So that's what I would be looking for today. If we can hold that in Ripple, that would be great. If you're looking to buy this, here's this 236 a fib. It's just a little bit higher. Here's the hourly 200, just a bit higher than that. I would say if we can rally beyond this zone here, this sort of trouble area, just above there would be like where I'd buy it. I think it's otherwise a little bit too much resistance to get through. So I might wait for the close, you know, if I was waiting for confirmation of the reversal. It all looks just a little bit disappointingly heavy, like Bitcoin. Just needs to go a little bit more to make me, like in this one, you could even wait for a rally back to these previous highs, and then, you know, this would be a very nice entry too. I think we can afford to be a bit patient and make sure that it's going up again in Ripple.